What's up, everybody? Grab those pencils and get ready because today we're going to be drawing. What's up, everyone? I'm Mr. Brown, and today we're going to be continuing with what we've been looking at with principles of design, and we are going to be doing some drawing online. Today we're coming to you from my dining room. Yes, most exciting room in our house. We've got this great plant over here that's all green and planty. I always keep a microphone in my dining room just in case. Never know when that might come in handy. But today we're going to be hanging out together here in the dining room, and we're going to be learning a new kind of software tool that's going to enable us to draw online, and we're going to be using that to test out and play around with some of our principles of design. So since this is going to be software based, first thing we need to do, open our Chromebooks, except you probably already have your Chromebooks open. Open your Chromebooks, get them out, go to your browser, and we're going to type in the search bar, we're going to type in Canvas Chrome. If I can spell Chrome. There we go. Hit enter, and it should be the very first thing that pops up. Canvas, Chrome for Canvas. Go ahead and click that, and it's going to open up, and we're going to see just a really basic screen, and this is where we're going to get started today. I'm going to walk you guys through just a few of the tools and the basics of how it works, and then we're going to start creating. So very first thing we want to do is click New Drawing. Got a little plus sign beside it, easy to find. Here in the new drawing, we are going to actually walk through some of these tools really quickly so you know what everything does. I'm going to use my pencil to kind of illustrate what we're doing. Very first tool is this one here. Well, that thing went away, but that is the color. If you click it, you can select from one of these different colors. Also click custom, and you can change to whatever color you would like, which is kind of helpful when you're trying to make something creative and fun. The next tool we see is this tool. That tool keeps disappearing, the toolbar. This is where we adjust our opacity and size. So if we want to make a bigger line, we just change the size up, or smaller, we just shrink it down right there. Our next tool here is to actually change what the tools are, what our drawing tools are. The first one we have is a pencil, and as you can see, it is very light and kind of like a pencil. You kind of have to color it in a little bit like you would if it was like a matte pencil or something. Our second tool in the toolbar is the fountain pen, which is kind of fun to use. Especially if you're going to be writing in cursive. I'm terrible at cursive. I do like to write Z's in cursive. They're very fun. So you can do that. It's also nice to kind of draw and do some little sketches with. Kind of fun. That's my terrible sketch of a guy that's just kind of sitting there. The next tool we have is the marker. Big, bold lines. You can draw all sorts of big, thick, bold lines here, and it's just kind of handy. Our next tool, one that some of you may not be familiar with if you haven't done much art, but it's a piece of charcoal, and generally this is black, so I'm going to change it back to black. And you can take your charcoal and you can just kind of do some shading with it, some drawing. There's lots of different things that you can do with charcoal. In the art world, it's used quite a bit to help people develop the skills that they need in sketching and in drawing. And lastly, my favorite tool, the tool I use more than any tool that I've ever used, the eraser. That's right, the eraser is the best tool, because when I get done with all of this disastrous mess, I can just erase it. But the truth is, I'm too lazy to erase this, so we're just going to start over. I'm going to go back home by clicking the home button. I'm going to click my three dots, and I am going to delete this terrible monstrosity. I'm going to click New Drawing at the top, and we're going to start again and create something new. Let's say that I want to create a drawing of a really beautiful boat on the water. Easy, you say. So here's what we'd normally do. I'm just going to use the marker. I'm going to draw my water, and this is looking fantastic. This is really, really great. I feel like this should be an episode of Bob Ross. Maybe next time. I don't know if I'm up to that caliber yet, but I don't think we can put any happy little trees in the water. Oh well, we'll see what we can do. I'm drawing my water. It looks great. It looks like squiggly lines, but it's water. Trust me. I'm going to increase the pen size to as big as I can make it, and I'm just going to fill in this water. Look how beautiful this is. Oh, that looks awful. So anyways, it's okay. Next thing I'm going to do, though, is I need to draw a boat to put on my water. So I'm going to change my color. Boats are made out of wood. Wood is brown. That's pretty, everybody knows that. I'm going to come back to my marker tool. I'm going to change my marker size down just a little bit so that the boat doesn't look ridiculous. And here I go. I'm going to draw my boat on the water. And there we go. Look how great this looks. It's a boat. Oh, I need to color it in. Here we go. Let's change the size up. We can fill this in really easily. Look how great this is turning out, y'all. Wow. Good boat. So the problem is when you draw like this, and this is what a lot of us have done our entire lives, is when you draw like this, it's all mixing together. And the pixels and the data, it's all just smushed into one spot. So this is not going to work at all. Because in the professional world, you may need to make edits or tweaks or adjustments. There's different little things. So what we like to do, and this is going to be something we do all throughout the course, is we take elements and put them into different layers. Layers is a term you're going to hear over and over. It's because everything we do, every software we use, uses layers. So you're going to have to start thinking about putting things into layers. When we actually get started on the software like Photoshop, Premiere Pro, Illustrator, that's really going to be a practice that we spend a lot of time on, is thinking in layers. But right here, we're just going to do something really, really simple and basic so I can show you guys how layers work. I'm actually going to back all of this disaster up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back home. I'm going to delete this again, and I'm going to create a new drawing. And the very first thing I'm going to do on my new drawing is, that is ridiculous. The very first thing I'm going to do on my new drawing is, well, see if I can get it to work right. The very first thing I'm going to do on my new drawing is erase this mark that I did just a minute ago. And now I'm going to draw some water. So here we go, just going to draw some simple water. There we go, it looks so nice. And now I'm going to change my marker size to something larger. And I'm just going to fill in all this water here with the same color that water is, which is, you know, blue sometimes. Sometimes it's more brown, but we're not going to talk about brown water. No one, brown water. Okay, so here we go. Filling all this in, and I'm just going to come up here and fill this in. Looks great. Fantastic. That's probably some of the best water that's ever been drawn. Now, before I put my boat, I want to create a new layer. And the layers tool, if you look, is right up here. It's this little square looking thing. It's kind of like a square laying on its side. It's supposed to be kind of three-dimensional. This is our layers tool. And if you go ahead and click it, it's going to give you the layers. And what we want to do is, you can see our existing layers here, my beautiful portrait of water. And I'm going to add a layer on top of that. So I'm just going to hit the plus sign. And now you can see that we have a bottom layer, which we can turn on and off, and now we have a top layer that we're about to be drawing on. One of the things you always need to make sure of is make sure you've selected the right layer before you begin to draw. So many times I've started working and ended up drawing on the wrong layer and have to start completely over. It's a mess. So let's draw a boat on the right layer. I'm going to change my color back to a brown. And we're going to go back to our marker, and here we go. I'm going to draw my beautiful, oh goodness, that's awful. I need to change the size down quite a bit. Here we are. And here's our boat. Looking good. That's one of the best looking boats I've ever seen. I know you guys will not disagree with me because your grades may depend on that. So, beautiful boat, hand drawn by the master, Mr. Brown. And if you look at it, it looks great. Let's go back to our layers, and we can plainly see I have a layer with a boat and I have a layer with some water. But there's a problem with my drawing. If you look at my beautiful illustration, what you'll begin to notice is that my boat looks like it's on the water. It doesn't look like it's in the water. It doesn't look right. Something's wrong. So what I want to do is I want to rearrange the layers, because the water kind of needs to be over the boat. In Photoshop, in Premiere Pro, in After Effects, in Illustrator, and in Canvas for Chrome, layer order is determined by from top to bottom. So what we want to do is move the water layer on top of the boat layer. So what I'm actually going to do is come down here and select my water layer, click and hold on the image, and, well, I said click and hold. Now it's not clicking and holding. click and hold on the image and drag the image all the way up. And as you can see, the water is now over the boat, and as honestly terrible as this illustration is, it looks a little bit more like it's supposed to look, something realistic. We can even come in and add new layers so that we can create a sun, just make it yellow. Draw our sun up here, and we'll give it some little sun rays because it's hot. It's Texas, it's the ocean in Texas, and it's just blazing hot all the time. And the good news is that we can make adjustments to this layer, change this layer, delete this layer, rearrange this layer, and we still have our individual elements there. So we don't have to totally delete or destroy everything. It's just there, and it's there for us to use and manipulate and change. So that's an introduction to using a software with layers. It's great to play around with, and that's what we're going to kind of do today, is explore this software as well as use it to practice some of these elements, these principles of design. So you're going to go to our class instructional site, check out your assignment for today, and do that in Google Classroom. From there, you're going to turn this in as a object that I can kind of take a look at and give you a grade. So if you have any questions, make sure and send me a message on Remind or an email. I'll be glad to answer those questions. Make sure that you are turning your assignments in on Google Classroom and not just emailing me, because those just kind of get lost in this massive amount of emails that I get. All right, that's it for Google Canvas Chrome. You guys have fun playing with that. We're going to be using it a lot over the next couple of weeks to kind of practice these design elements and get better at understanding layers and how they work and how the various tools can kind of work together. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you guys next time. Mr. Brown's out.